You can watch previous videos. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, Rudnit?
Yes.
Next thing is, yeah, Safia, Somi ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, will Safia come?
I don't know, ma'am. She doesn't come to center anymore.
Then we'll start. Okay. Coordination in plants. See, plants don't have nervous system, right? And they don't have sense organs like eyes, ear, or tongue, or skin, right? Then how do they coordinate? How do they control? Because plants also responds to stimuli, right? How do they do that? So in this topic, we are going to learn about that. They don't have nervous system, so they do it by hormones. What are hormones? Hormones are chemical substance, right? Plants hormones, yes, plants hormones are also known as Rudnil. Can you guess? No. Okay.
You want me to name some plant hormones?
No. I want you to name plant hormones is also known as the other name for plant
I'm
hormone.
not sure.
Okay, it is also called phytohormone. Okay, phyto means plant. They are same thing. Okay, okay. You can name some hormones also. Rudnil, you were telling, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Not able to remember now.
Auxin, then gibberellin, cytokinin, then abscisic acid. So these are the major types of plant hormones involved in the control and coordination of the plants. Okay. Now, what is the work of auxin? It will promote cell enlargement and cell division also. Cell, not cell division, cell differentiation. What is cell differentiation? And also, what it will do? One more thing, promote fruit growth. All the phototropic and geotropic response also it will do. Okay, this auxin, we learn about this. Okay, and this auxin, where it is made? It is made at tip of stem and roots. Okay, now what about gibberellin? It will promote cell enlargement, the same thing, right? And cell differentiation, the same thing. Okay, now, right, in cell differentiation, cells are differentiated into performing various functions. Okay, now here we have this gibberellin. The difference between auxin and gibberellin is here. Okay, it will help in breaking of dormancy. What is dormancy, right? What is dormancy? Can you guess, Rudnil? Okay, it is related to seeds and buds, right? So the seed and buds, right, they will be in dormant condition. Okay, so breaking of dormancy means breaking that dormancy condition. Because of that, seed will grow, okay, and it will become a sapling. Okay, understood, Rudnil?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, we have cytokinins. What about that? It will promote cell division. Okay. Here also the same thing, breaking of dormancy. And one more thing here, we'll see that is delay in aging of the leaves. Okay. Now, these all were what? Growth promoter hormones. Okay. I'll write this with different color, promoter. And this abscisic acid, it is inhibitor. Okay. On what's its function? I write this pink color. Yes. Okay. Here we have. It is inhibitor. So what it will do? It will promote, right? Here it is breaking of dormancy, right? So it will promote dormancy in buds, in seeds and buds. Okay. Right? It is opposite of breaking of dormancy. And one more thing is, it will promote the closing of stomata. Okay, then it will also promote the wilting, right, of and falling of leaves, this aging of leaves. Okay, it will promote this cytokinin, it will delay, but here it is promotion. Okay, that's why it is inhibitor hormone. Okay, I think you have already studied this, right? CNC. In that plants movement, there is two types, right? movement of plants, we have two types. Okay, what are those? What are those? Good evening, Safia. Rudnin, any guesses? Like the whenever we touch, right? Touch me not, right? That plant it folds up, right? And it bends. Also, there is one more thing. The sunflower, right? They 1 minute. Okay, what I was giving example. Okay, the next one I was telling about the sunflower, right? It bends, it bends towards the light, right? Sunlight. So there is different kind of movement, right? In both the cases there is different kind of movement. Can you tell now which type of movements? Okay, I'll tell. One is growth dependent, the other one growth independent. This growth dependent, right? We have, this is also known as trophic movements or trophism. Okay, and here also two types. One is positive trophism, the other one is negative trophism. Okay, now we'll learn about the trophism. What is trophism? It is the growth movement of plant, right, in response to external stimuli, in which the direction of stimuli determines the direction of response. Thus, this trophic movement is directional movement. Okay, I'll write it here. Growth movement of a plant part in response to an external stimuli. What is stimuli? In which the direction? Yes. Tell me, Safia.
Yes, ma'am.
What is stimuli? Can you tell me example of stimuli?
Stimuli is an action which the plant can sense and react to.
Yes. And can you tell me example?
Examples of that are sunlight, and in the case of touch me not plant, if we touch it, then that's a stimuli.
Okay, you can say light, gravity, chemicals, water, touch. Those are okay. This trophic movement it depends on direction. Okay. Now, if the growth of plant it's towards the stimulus, okay, it is called positive trophism. And if the growth of the plant is against, it's away from the stimulus, then it is negative trophism.
Ma'am, could you zoom out on the notes?
Hmm?
Could you zoom out on the screen?
This one.
No, ma'am, can you zoom out? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, then next I will see the diagrams, then we'll learn it. Now, depending on the stimulus, we have type of, depending on the stimulus, we have type of trophism. Okay, first light. If light is the stimulus, then what is that trophism? It will be called as phototrophism. Okay, here no space. I'll write it here. For light, what was that? Phototrophism. Then what about gravity? If stimulus is gravity, then which type of trophism is it?
That's geotropism.
Correct. Zeotrophism. Then what about if it is chemical? It is chemotrophism. Water? Hydrotrophism. Okay. Now, can you tell me touch? For touch, what trophism is it? Thigmotrophism. Okay. Now, first we'll go for the phototrophism. So here in this figure, you can see, right? Here we have plant. When sun is on top of it, there is equal distribution of the oxygen. Okay. And when sun moves, right? What happens? Wherever there is shade, right? Wherever sunlight doesn't fall, there we have there the oxygen is accumulated. Okay. The oxygen gathers here. Because of this, the plant, right, it bends. Because of this, the plants will bend because this side, right, it will grow faster. Okay, that's why whenever we see sunflower, it is bending toward the sun, right? That's how the movement happens. It is very slow movement. Next, in this figure, it is geotrophism. Okay, right? here you can see this is root and this is stem. Okay. Now, if we are putting it in horizontally, this plant, what happened? Stem will go up and the root will go down. Why is it so? Because this stem, right, it is going against gravity. So it is showing negative geotrophism. Okay. And this root, it is going towards the gravity, right? This is showing positive geotrophism. Now here we have the example of hydrotrophism. Okay. Now this hydrotrophism, what we are doing is we are taking a container. Inside that we are putting soil, moist soil. Then inside that we are planting a seed. Then what will happen? The root, right? It will grow in this direction straight. Okay. Because the moist soil, there will be water content everywhere. Okay. Next, what we are doing, we are taking clay pot and putting water inside that. What will happen? The root, right, it will bend towards the water, right? This is showing hydrotrophism. Then here in this case, we have thigmotrophism. These tendrils are attaching to a fence or the other plant, okay, by this movement, thigmotrophism. Then chemotrophism, when we see an ovule, right, when we see a pollen grain will have pollen tube, okay, it will have pollen tube inside it. Whenever the stigma, right, whenever the pollen grain falls in the stigma, what will happen? There will be signaling from the style of the female part. Okay, and because of that, tube will be released from the pollen grain, and tube will move inside the ovule. Okay, inside that tube there will be male gametes, and after that the male and female gamete will fuse. Okay, so here there is the work of chemotrophism, because the sigma will release chemicals. Because of that, the pollen tube will grow. Understood?
Could you explain that again?
Okay, so in plants, right, we have anther, the male part. Do you know that? You
I
learn
absolutely
in the
remember.
yeah, you learn in the next class in the reproduction the various parts of the plant. Okay, inside that there is one plant part called anther, which is male part. Okay, here there will be pollen grain. Okay, pollen grain will be formed, and the birds and insect, all that will they will stick on to the birds and insect. After that, what will happen? Our wind, through wind, it will travel to other plant, right, where there will be the female part, right, it will have style. Okay, when the pollen grain falls in the style, right, what will happen? It will release chemical, and because of that, the pollen grain, right, it will grow pollen tube, and the pollen tube will extend, and it will go inside that style. Inside the style, right, there will be ovule. Okay, there the pollen tube will release male gamete, and inside the ovule there will be female gamete. Both the thing will fuse. Okay, and they will form zygote. Understood? And this is our chemotrophism. Understood, Sophia? Understood or not? Rudnil, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood, right, Sophia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, we have
Ma'am,
C.
so can you repeat like which part secretes the chemical?
Okay, style. Okay, we will learn this in detail. Okay, in the next chapter, there is three parts in the females: style, stigma, and ovary. Inside ovary, we have our ovule. This stigma, right? Stigma. It will fall in the stigma like this. This ovary, and here we have ovule. Okay, this pollen grain, it will extend and it will reach ovule, sorry, ovule, the outer layer. Okay, this is style, this is stigma. Okay, so we have talked about the growth dependent movement in plants. Next, we'll talk about the growth independent. And growth independent, right, It is also known as what? Can anyone say? It is also known as nasties. Okay, nasties. The movement of plant part in response to external stimuli in which the direction of response is not determined by the direction of stimulus is called nastic movement. So it is not directional movement. Here we learn about the two types, two things, that is thigmonasty, the folding of the leaves of Mimosa pudica, okay, on touching is an example of thigmonasty. It is non-directional movement. This is non-directional movement, okay, with response to touch. How this happens? Plants also use chemicals, okay, electrical chemical signal, okay, but they don't have nervous system. So how they do that? They do that by changing their shape. How do they change their shape? Right? It depends upon the amount of water they have in them. That is, they will shrink or swell. So the shape will change. Okay. Next, we have one more thing: photonastic. This dandelion flower, right? It will bloom only daytime, right? It will close at night when it gets dark. Okay, this. And here the moonflower, right? It will close during the day, but at night it will bloom. And this is example of photonastic, because here the direction is not dependent. It is not dependent on direction. That's why it is nastic movement. And because it depends on the sunlight, the light intensity, that's why it is called photonastic. So we have completed our chapter here. Any doubt? In the next class we'll be having test, then we'll start the reproduction in organism. Okay, any doubt here, Safia and Rudhanan?
Please explain the nastics and dandelions.
Nastic in
Dandelions.
dandelion flower. So here what will happen, right? Whenever there is high intensity of sunlight, the light intensity will be more, right, during day. So the flower will bloom, and whenever it is not there, right, it will, what will happen? It will close. The buds will close. And in this moonflower case, it is opposite. When there is low light intensity, right, when the light is not bright, that time what will happen? The at night, usually it happens at night, so the flower will bloom. And when it is daytime, right, there will be bright light, the moonflower, right, it will close. It will close its petals. Okay, understood? Only this much you have to know. Safia?
Can we say that this?
Yes, tell me.
Can we say that there's photonastics in sunflower also?
No. You cannot say, because here, right? Here in this case, the direction of the sunlight it doesn't affect. Here, the direction is not included, right? Because the dandelion, it will bloom during daytime. Whether the sun is east, west, north, or wherever the sun is there, right? It doesn't depend on that. Only it will depend upon the bright light. Okay, understood? So
Yes,
that's why it is photonastic. But in the case of sunlight, right, it will depend on the direction of sun, right? Wherever the sunlight is not falling, right, there we have the auxin growth. That's why it will bend towards the sunlight. Right here we have in the dandelion flower, whenever there is no sunlight, it will close. But it doesn't happen in the case of sunlight, in the case of sunflower. Okay, understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any doubt, Rudhanil?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you guys. Yeah, how was your test? Yesterday's test, Safia and Rudhanil?
It was well. It went well.
Okay, that's great. Rudhanil, what about you?
Ma'am, it went well.
Yeah, and this chapter will come in the finals, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so where this chapter is completed, but you have to keep on revising. Okay.
Have we discussed plant hormones?
Yes, we have discussed plant hormones. Yeah, you came late. You can watch the video.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll close off. Okay, thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.